Technically, Nurhaci wasn't the emperor of Qing. Qing was founded by his son Huang Taiji 10 years later after his death. Nurhaci founded the later Jin and became the first Kehan. In Nurhaci's age, he united various Manchu tribes and created the Eight Banners military system. He started the war with Ming. By his death, the later Jin conquered Ming's northeastern Liaodong province. After Nurhaci's death, his eighth son, Huang Taiji, became the second Kehan of the later Jin. In 1636, Huang Taiji changed the name of the later Jin to the Great Qing and changed his title from Kehan to the emperor. In Huang Taiji's time, the Qing didn't successfully conquer the whole Ming, but Mongolia and Korea succumbed to the Qing, so the Qing armies could focus on attacking the Ming. In 1641, Huang Taiji deeply loved consort Hailanzhu passed away. Huang Taiji couldn't move on from her death. 2 years after Hailanzhu's death, Huang Taiji died without having named an heir, and the Qing faced a huge crisis. To balance the benefits of different banners, Huang Taiji's 5-year-old son Fu Lin became the emperor, known as the Emperor Shunzhi. Dorgun, the Prince Rui of the first rank, and Jia Halang, the Prince Zheng of the first rank, managed the court as the Prince Regent. But Dorgun had more power, so he was the actual ruler in early Qing Dynasty. In June 1644, Dorgun led the Qing army conquered Beijing, the capital of Ming. Ming Dynasty was finished. 4 months later, Shunzhi arrived at Beijing and became the first emperor ruled whole China in Qing Dynasty. In 1650, with the death of Dorgun, Shunzhi became the real ruler of the country. At that time, Shunzhi was just 13 years old. Shunzhi faced a real complicated political situation. The only person who could comfort him was his imperial noble consort, Dong Efei. Unfortunately, Dong Efei passed away in 1660. Shunzhi collapsed. 5 months after Dong Efei's death, Shunzhi passed away at the age of 22. Before death, the Emperor Shunzhi passed his throne to his third son, 8-year-old Xuan Ye, known as the Emperor Kangxi. Kangxi ruled the country for 61 years, which made him become the longest-serving emperor in ancient Chinese history. In the first 6 years of Kangxi's time, the actual power was held by 4 regents and his grandma, the Grand Emperor's daughter Xiaozhuang. In 1669, under the support of his grandmother, Kangxi arrested Regent Ao Bai and became the actual ruler of China. The Emperor Kangxi was considered as one of the greatest emperors in ancient Chinese history. He brought a long-term stability and a relative wealth society to people. He started the period of Kangqian Shengshi. In 1722, the Emperor Kangxi died. The crown was passed to his fourth son, Yin Zhen. Yin Zhen was the Emperor Yongzheng, He only ruled China for 13 years. He fixed many problems left by the Emperor Kangxi and made a great foundation for the Emperor Qianlong. Yongzheng was a hard-working ruler. He only rested 3 days a year. He asked the court artist to draw a series of pictures called Yongzheng play figure to pretend that he did those fine things. Started from Yongzheng, Qing emperors didn't publicly promote the crown prince. They read the crown prince and hid it behind 正大光明 banner. Qianlong was the first emperor who got through this process. Qianlong officially ruled the country for 60 years and 4 months. Then he announced that he retired and passed the throne to his 5th son, Yongyan, known as the Emperor Jiaqing. But Qianlong didn't truly give up his powers. He worked as the actual ruler until he passed away. During Qianlong's time, the Qing reached his most splendid and prosperous time. But Qianlong closed the door to the world, which made China developed far behind the outside world. The Emperor Qianlong passed away at 88 years old, as the longest-lived emperor in Chinese history. When Qianlong passed away, the Emperor Jiaqing became the real ruler of the country. The first thing he did was arresting Qianlong's favorite minister He Shen and got a huge amount of treasures. Jiaqing tried his best to manage the court, but his capability wasn't enough to fix the problems left by Qianlong. During Jiaqing's time, the country faced serious internal disorder. In 1813, the members from Zhenli Jiao conquered the Forbidden City, which never happened in other dynasties. When Jiaqing passed away, his throne was passed to his second son, Minning. Minning was the Emperor Daoguang. He was liked by his grandpa, the Emperor Qianlong. During his time, Qing army lost the war with British and signed the Treaty of Nanjing. Qing authorized the British to control Hong Kong. Until 1997, Hong Kong was back to China. In 1850, the Emperor Daoguang passed away. In his will, he passed his throne to his fourth son, known as the Emperor Xianfeng, and promoted his sixth son as the Prince Gong of the first rank. Xianfeng's government faced pressures from both inside and outside the country. Inside, Taiping Rebellion happened. In 1851, Hong Xiuquan, the leader of the rebellion, declared himself as the Heavenly King and built a new dynasty called the Heavenly Kingdom of Great Peace. Outside, Qing army lost in the Second Opium War. In 1860, Beijing was conquered by the British and French forces. Xianfeng escaped to the Chengde mountain resort. After negotiation, Qing government signed the Convention of Beijing. In 1861, Xianfeng passed away in Chengde mountain resort. His throne was inherited by his 6-year-old son, known as the Emperor Tongzhi. Tongzhi only lived for 19 years. and had shortest life in all Qing emperors. During Tongzhi's short life, he never had real powers. The court was managed by the Empress daughter Ci'an and the Empress daughter Cixi. During Chongzhi's time, the Taiping Heavenly Kingdom rebellion was finished, and no war happened with other countries. Qing Dynasty temporarily came back to normal. This period was called Tongzhi Restoration. In 1875, Tongzhi passed away without any kids. The two empress daughters chose 3-year-old Zhai Tian as the emperor, known as the Emperor Guangxu. The court was still controlled by two empress daughters. In 1881, the empress daughter Ci'an suddenly passed away. The empress daughter Cixi became the actual and only ruler of the country. During Guangxu's time, outside Jiawu 战争, the first Sino-Japanese war happened. Qing lost and signed 马关条约, Treaty of Sino-Monosaka. Inside, Guangxu supported the reform by 日维新, 100 Days Reform. Unfortunately, Guangxu and his supporters lost. Guangxu was home arrested in Yingtai by the empress daughter. In 1900, 8-nation alliance conquered Beijing. The empress daughter Cixi and Guangxu escaped to Xi'an. Qing government signed 辛丑条约, 辛丑 Treaty. After they came back to Beijing, Guangxu was still under the home arrested until he died in 1908. One day after Guangxu passed away, the emperor daughter Cixi died. Because Guangxu didn't have kids, before that, the emperor daughter Cixi chose 2-year-old Puyi as the new emperor, known as the Emperor Xuantong. Xuantong's biological father, the Prince Chun of the first rank, managed the court as the Prince Regent. In 1911, Xinhai Revolution happened. In February 12, 1912, the empress daughter Long Yu publicly announced the Qing Dynasty was finished. But the royal family still lived in the Forbidden City until 1924. Xuantong wanted to rebuild the Qing government through the support of Japan, but didn't succeed. In 1959, Puyi became a normal Chinese citizen and passed away in 1967. Thank you for watching this video. See you soon.